So my telescope came in. This is the reason why I tore down a few of my tanks to help subsidize this purchase. It's a very nice telescope, and practically everything about this thing is metal. The stand is metal. The actual tube itself is metal too. So this is a very premium telescope. But with that said, this video is me. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while, but really never had a chance to. This is why I don't do frequent water changes. So first I'm going to show all my other tanks are doing just fine. My flower horn tank, I just did a water change on him about 2 days ago. My female flower horn, I've been doing water changes on this one pretty constant because I've been moving this tank around a lot this week, so her last water change was only like 3 weeks. It was only like 2 days ago. Sun and Blake, their water change was done about 4 days ago. This one had a water change about 4 days ago too, and of course I also have extra fish in here and whatnot too. Note, White Knight is doing just fine. This tank had a water change a day or so, about like 3 days ago, 4 days ago. My other male flower horn is doing just great. My goldfish tank, it had a water change about a week ago. I've also went and added Papa's plants to the back to help with filtration. This tank hasn't had a water change yet, and considering what just happened, this tank is not getting one unless it's absolutely necessary. And of course, there's old Hyatt. He does this a lot, so I'm not too scared. He did this a lot in his old tank, and I've had him for around 5 months now, so I'm very used to how he acts. And plus, I did just wake him up from sleep, so he's kind of grouchy. The Hate tank is also doing just fine. Their water, I actually haven't done, I only done one water change about a week ago, and that's because of the fry. The actual fry tank is also doing just fine. This one has yet to have a water change. Now, since I'm going to be right outside my parents' door, and they're currently asleep, I can't talk. But what I'm going to show you is my 29-gallon tank. The fish are currently asleep, but I'll be able to show you that they're doing just fine. But then when I pan to the 10-gallon tank that's divided by 3 with 2 bettas, one is already dead, and the other one's on the verge of death. And the thing is, I did a water change in the 29-gallon and in the 10-gallon on the same day. That was about 3 days ago, I believe. The 29-gallon tank is doing just fine. There's one veil tail or veil tail angelfish. I forget what they're called. Long fin ones. One has his back fin torn. And I think it might be getting a little bit of fungus, but I don't know because when I looked at it today, it doesn't have any. So I'm monitoring him just fine. But the betta in the middle is dead. And the one on the other side is alive, but on its last legs. And before you say, why don't you treat the tank? It won't work. I've tried medicating the tank for fungus when my bettas have fungus. None of them have survived treatment. So unfortunately, there's nothing I can do. And this is why I don't do water changes. Because if I do frequent water changes, for some reason or another, my bettas will end up dying, even though I'm doing everything normal. And doing water changes is pretty freaking idiot proof. And I don't need to go over how I do water changes because I've already done a video about that a while back anyways. Now, before you say anything in the comments about the angelfish acting weird, you gotta remember it's past midnight. The fish are normally asleep at this time, and that's how they are when they always sleep. I just got up. And the reason why all my fish I just showed you excluded and whatnot are active is because I turned on their tanks and I let them wake up for about 5 minutes prior to doing this video and to perk all these ones up. So this is why I don't do water changes. And don't get me wrong, I've tried to figure out why this happens. It's the annoying part is it's only my bettas. My 29-gallon tank that has a heap ton of angels and everything else, they've gotten fungus in the past. Heck, they've had fungus for like 2-3 days prior to me doing treatments, and they survived. And I'm able to do treatments, and they'll survive. So I don't know what to do. I mean, the only thing I've been able to do to prolong my bettas and actually get them to live is to not do frequent water changes. And that's the same thing with practically all my fish. Unfortunately for me, if I just leave the tanks be and not do any water changes until it's absolutely necessary, my fish will live. And I know it goes against everything that is supposed to be that you're supposed to do when it comes to caring for fish. But it's the only thing I could do to get my fish to actually live long. I mean, heck, I'm about to lose my dragon scale. I've had my dragon scale for nearly a year now. And that really sucks. Like I said, I don't know what else to do. At least I get to look at it like this. Once the other betta passes, I'll be able to remove the dividers and give my flower horn a proper 10-gallon tank to grow out in. Because this current 5.5-gallon tank is too small for her. That's the only bright side I can give for this video. Is that she'll be able to upgrade to a proper tank size to grow out in more. At least all my other fish are doing just fine, and that's a good thing, because I do not want to lose any more of my fish. Heck, the only tanks I legitimately did water changes on is the ones that have my fry. And even then, I'm now going to be very sparing on the water changes now, due to what just happened. I think these two are about to spawn again. Interesting. So I may actually start uploading more videos again, dependent. But like I said, I got this thing now, so it kind of ate away a heap ton of money. So I'm not going to really be able to do much videos because I have the same fish, and it's going to get pretty boring after a while.